Hello, my name is John Booy and I'm the superintendent of the Potter's House School in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Probably one of the things that the Potter's House is most famous for is that it's the school that Emily Steenwijk Romero went to from grades kindergarten through 8th grade. It would have been 12th grade, but we didn't have a high school when she came. Emily and David asked if I would speak on behalf of Jubilee Sinners International, and I said I would be happy to because I love what's going on at Jubilee. Probably the best way for me to talk about it is by using a metaphor of a meeting that I had with one of our grantors. In the middle of the summer, one of our foundation grantors that gives us a yearly grant asked that I would meet with him in order to give an update on the school. And I did just that. I told him all the things that was going on at Potter's House, and then he asked, do you have any sister schools or any other schools in the country? And I mentioned a couple of them. I said the one that I'm most excited about is Jubilee Sinners International in Honduras. And I told him about Emily coming to Potter's House, going on to Calvin, taking an internship in Honduras, meeting David, going up to Fuller, and birthing this idea of a rigorous, Christ-centered school in the middle of Tegucigalpa, in the middle of some of the roughest areas in the city and possibly the country. And this school that started with just a few students that ended up getting this beautiful building and housing kids all the way from kindergarten through 9th grade. And then I talked about our staff and our teachers who have gone down to Jubilee and given workshops or even spent a whole summer teaching. Some have served on the board. And then I talked about Mr. Van and myself going down to Jubilee Sinners International. Mr. Van is our founding teacher at Potter's House. We spent a week there and we saw the whole program from beginning to end. One of the things that we saw on the very first day was their worship session. One of the things that Potter's House prides ourselves on is family worship. So we had pretty high expectations for what we would see. But when we went to the worship time for the students at Jubilee, we were blown away. The students sang and worshiped with such passion. You could see it on their faces. They raised their hands. And the interesting thing was the older they got, the more passionate they were about worship, which is a pretty hard thing to pull off in middle school. And so Mr. Van and I said to ourselves, we've got to learn to help our students in middle school worship like these kids down here. One of the things I really love about Jubilee is David's heart for the whole family. David definitely has a pastor's heart, evangelistic heart, and he reaches out to the whole family with a church service and going into the neighborhood. And we went with him. We went to some of the Jubilee families with guitars and we sang worship songs in their homes, and David and others prayed over the families. At the end of talking about all these things about Jubilee, the grantor looked at me and said, do you have any brochures or information on this school? And sure enough, within a couple of weeks, a grant from this foundation went down to Jubilee. I think that Jubilee is one of the best investments that you can make. No matter where you stand politically, I think we can all agree that providing a rigorous, state-of-the-art, Christ-centered school and education for students living in poverty and often in violence, we can all agree that that's a powerful thing to do, to train up leaders that will impact their families, their neighborhoods, and the country. I'm involved with Jubilee myself in sponsoring a student. This is Arodi. He's in 7th grade. He's 13. He wants to be an architect, and the cry of his heart is to pray for his mom and for his dad. I'm convinced that every dollar that I invest in Jubilee is going to a very powerful cause. And I invite you to join me in investing in the lives of students in Tegucigalpa, Honduras at Jubilee Sinners International. Thank you for your time.